ISO 9001, how to implement a management system, how to understand a quality management system, how to understand what ISO 9001 is all about, where to start, what to implement, what to do, what do I need for my organization. That's what we're talking about in this quality management system video today here at Best Practice in Making Time for Improvement. We promised we would come to you live every Wednesday. We missed last Wednesday. My apologies, we were very busy last Wednesday and we couldn't make time for improvement. But today, while we're making time for improvement, we're talking about all things ISO 9001, and specifically, I'm listening to your comments. Today, I've got 10 hacks to help you implement ISO 9001 and everything that you need to go through. So I've brought along my notepad. I've prepared for this session. So here it is right here. This is my notepad, and I'm going to go through each of these 10 points for you, and we'll talk about what's involved in implementing an ISO 9001 management system. So let's get started. Thanks very much. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to implement an ISO 9001 management system, and I'm going to do it quickly. I'll get through this. I won't keep you long because I noticed our accountant just walked past the office and she's looking for me. So I'm busy. So we'll make this time for improvement. So the first thing, obviously, is do your research. And part of doing your research is reading the standard, working out what management systems look like. If it's an ISO 9001 management system or if it's a quality management system, do some Googling and start to look at what's available on the internet. What are you doing? What are you looking for? What are you involved in? Have a look at that stuff and do some searching. And don't forget to click the images tab on when you do your Google search to see, well, what does a quality management system look like? What's involved in ISO 9001? Then you can start to look at our YouTube channel. So the second point I'll be saying is like, you know, I'll do a lot of your dirty work for you. I will try and take some of that load off with you. I'll try and make it simple. I'll try and outline it for you. There's over 500 really popular videos. We'll put some links to good videos below in the description here today. There's lots of great stuff. I'll do most of the dirty work for you in terms of how to understand it. I'll do a lot of great videos, and there is lots of great videos that you can share with your team, with your company, with your organization that you work for. But you're going to have to read the standard. I'm sorry to say, it's part of this process. So everything that you can then watch here at Best Practice is going to help you to understand and unpack what the confusing parts are of the ISO 9001 standard, or any of the ISO standards. If you're looking at ISO 45001 or ISO 14001 or of ISO 9001, or particularly data security, that's an emerging area. Go check out and have a look at ISO 27001. You can buy all of those standards from the Best Practice Training Academy website. We'll put the link below to that. We sell hard copies here. Unfortunately, we can't sell soft copies from Best Practice, but we sell hard copies and we can post those to you anywhere in the world. Okay, so reading the standard and watching Best Practice on YouTube and watching our YouTube channel. So go and check all of that out. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do when you get ISO 9001 or any of the ISO management system standards is I want you to read management review. Management review, in my opinion, is by far the most important of all of the parts of the ISO standard. So I want you to have a look at management review. Excuse me. Okay, this is live. This is live. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a look at management review, and then I want you to prepare for a strategic planning day with your key people in your team. And I want you to think about who are the key influencers in your organization that you're going to get together to start to talk about this management system that you need to implement. And what I want you to do is I want you to run a half-day session. It's a half-day planning session. And I want you to be thinking about management review and the parts of the management review standard, or the parts of the standard that talk about management review, and it's down at the bottom of the standard. And I want you to plan that half-day session. Now that half-day session, it's my recommendation, strong recommendation, that you plan to run that again on a quarterly basis. So I want you to be planning for that, and I want you to run it. That's step number one, is running it. Now, one of the things you're going to need to do is to plan for that. I want you to have a look at management review and look at what it's looking for. What's it asking for? What's it asking you to consider? Because those are going to be your agenda items for that half-day planning session with your key influencers. So implementing a management system in your organization, that is going to be the number one thing that you do. That's the first step. The first step is to run that strategic planning day. Goes for half a day. You can go for longer, not shorter. Needs to be longer, so it needs to be about 3.5 hours. And I want you to talk about the agenda items that are part of the management review inputs and the management review outputs in each of the ISO standards. Okay, so what do? We run that session, we prepare for that session. Now, the rest of the points that I'm going to cover in these 10 hacks that I'm finishing off for you are going to contribute to that discussion. So listen up and listen up closely, because they're the things that are going to be part of that management review. They're going to be part of your preparation for that planning session. So don't pause the video now, go and run that planning session and come back to this video. Finish watching the video, read the comments below and watch the other videos as you start planning for that and as you get your colleagues in your organization together for this session. Okay, so running the session. We need to think about what happens after the session before we start the session. And what I want you to be doing and getting ready to do is to write an action plan. Write a list of action, a list of tasks, a list of things that you need to do as a result of the discussions that take place in that 3.5-hour management review or quarterly meeting. Remembering that one of the things that you're going to do is to write down the date for the next one. So plan the next 4. So plan the very first one, then plan the next 4 on a quarterly basis through the year. And I want you to be thinking about that from a management review perspective. Okay, so we're going to have the session. We're sitting in the planning meeting. We're sitting in our management review. We're writing up our action plan. And that's going to be our issues list, our action plan. And if you've heard about things like non-conformances or improvement registers or corrective and preventative actions, for now, while you're getting started, let's just keep it really simple and let's just keep a thing called an issues list or an action plan. And it's just going to be the things that we need to action, the items that we need to talk about improvement. Now, in its very simplest form, if you just have this meeting, have a discussion about how you can improve the things you need to improve in your organization, you can write yourself a list and you can then go and improve those things and then come back and do another meeting and write another list. That's a management system. That's a quality management system or a business improvement management system in its simplest form. So what we're going to do is make it a little bit more strategic and a little bit more, powerful for your organization as we go through and map out some other parts. Okay, so one of the items that's going to be is to teach your team how to map their processes and look at process mapping. Now, if you go and check out some of the videos in our channel, we've got whiteboard sessions and we've got workshop sessions, and there's a whole playlist full of whiteboard and workshop process map sessions available here on the YouTube channel. What I want you to do is I want you to get some of those free videos and I want you to start thinking about process mapping in your team. Now, I don't want your team to have more than your individual teams or your individual departments in each part of your organization. Just one process map each that just has a high-level flow of what happens in each of those teams. And at the top, what the high-level process flow is from marketing to a customer placing an order in sales, to finance, to service or production or whatever it might be, or value-add process, to collecting money, to post-delivery activities. Really high-level process flow of what goes through your organization, and you can see some of those in the whiteboard sessions in the channel in that whiteboard sessions playlist. Okay, so it's really important to get your team thinking about mapping out their process, mapping out their procedures, and any professional person that should be part of what they do, irrespective of whether you've got a quality management system or not. Okay, set up your dashboard of statistics. Think about what are the top 10 things that we want to measure in our organization. Now, there's a couple of things. From a quality management system perspective, I would highly recommend that you run Net Promoter Score as a score of the level of your customers' satisfaction. You might then look at lost time injury frequency rate from an OH&S perspective. You might look at your carbon footprint from an environmental perspective. So I want you to think about what would be the key parameters, the key 10 parameters in your organization that you could start to measure. Eventually, over time, you might flesh that out to maybe 30 key statistics, but for now, let's talk about the key things. And a quality management system's, ultimate modern measure would be Net Promoter Score. So if you don't know about Net Promoter Score, go and do a Google search. Here at Best Practice, we use SurveyMonkey to help us run Net Promoter Score, and when you purchase the commercial edition of SurveyMonkey, they give you templates for that stuff, and Jack and John here at Best Practice ran that project earlier this year for us in the earlier part of 2018. Okay, so setting up your dashboard of statistics is really important. Starting to think about what might be the 10 big numbers that you'd like to record for your organization. Number of leads, number of sales, amount of revenue, number of happy customers, net promoter score, number of safety incidents, environmental or carbon footprint, those types of things. A corporate social responsibility matrix number, a data security number. Some really high level numbers to start look at a balanced scorecard approach. Now, remembering that you're still watching this video, you're still setting that up, and you haven't yet run your quarterly session. Because what we're going to be doing in the quarterly session is we're going to be talking about, well, how are we going? How are we tracking as an organization against those numbers? And then asking the key influencers that come to that meeting, where do you guys want to go? Do you want to measure these numbers? Do you want to know these numbers? Do we want to keep running with these numbers? Because then we start to build out processes and controls and improvement programs and plans to actually hit our goals. So we're going to be asking questions in that quarterly session. What are our goals? What are our objectives? What are our targets? So we're going to be talking about that sort of stuff. Now, I've got a very specific question that I currently ask about that, which is, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like for you? And that's a very specific question, and you're probably already thinking about, in the next 12 weeks, I'd love to achieve a whole bunch of stuff. Stop thinking about yourself for a second. I want you to think about this very specific question. In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like for you? That's a question that I want you to be asking when you convene this quarterly meeting, this meeting that's going to happen for a half day. It's a planning session. It's going to be in the next couple of weeks. Sooner rather than later, get right onto it. That's going to be your very first management review, and that's going to be the question, because it's really about continual business improvement and business improvement in what's happening and what we're going on. I'll get to Mark's question shortly. Okay, so then what we want to start to do is map out who does what, and then map out who is responsible for those key numbers. And when we map out who does what, that starts to identify responsibilities. This will talk to Mark's question in a minute, where Mark's responsible for everything. But when we map it out and we start to understand who does what and where we do it, then we can actually say to someone, right, that's your number. And this concept of everybody's got a number and everybody knows what their objective, their target, their goal is, then they can sort of make decisions about, well, is that what they want to do with their career? They can say, yes, actually that is, it's my job, I really love that, I really love that number, and then they can just get on with it. And if we're really clear about that, then people start to figure out how they want to go forward, and they don't need to worry too much about having all of this bureaucracy and lots of documents for your management system. And I did have a question. One of the questions came through this morning, one of the comments on one of our online products, which was, I really want to reduce all the bureaucracy in my organization. Well, a really great way to do that is to be focusing on the numbers and less on how to do things, and let, within reason, within compliance requirements, let people figure out how they need to do things, and give them that autonomy. Okay. Report weekly on your numbers. Now, if weekly is sounding like it's too much, then maybe that's not the right number, but we want to start to think about reporting weekly, and that's something that we do here at Best Practice. Is we look weekly at our numbers, but more so with the bigger numbers, we look at them monthly, and we look at the Best Practice monthly for the 12 months of the year, and that comes off, and that feeds into, it comes off the back of our weekly reporting, but it feeds into that quarterly meeting. Okay. The last hack here, which is hack number 10, and I'm going to answer some people's questions, is when you stumble and when you add things, when you're stumbling through the discussion, when you're stumbling through this process, when you're saying, I need to do this, I need to do this, write it on your issues list, write it on your action plan, write it on the list of items. Then you take that list, start your list now, need to get ISO 9001, need to get, certified. That's the first thing on your list. The next thing I've said is run a half-day workshop. Then I've said write an action plan. Then I've said teach your team processes. Then I've said set up your dashboard. Then I've said who does what and identify responsibilities. Then I've said report on your numbers. Then I've said when you stumble on things and you identify things, add them to your list. That's the first 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items for your issues list, for your improvement list or your improvement register in your organization. Now, the last tip in terms of when you get to that planning session. Now, you've got to run this planning session. It's not just watch this video and just, wander off and do something else. When you've finished watching this video, book a time in the next couple of weeks with key influencers, and I'm going to talk to Mark's question in a second, with key influencers, key people that can help you, and it could be Mark, it could be a coffee, it could be just a meeting with a couple of colleagues or an influencer or a mentor or a Skype call with me, Mark, and I can give you some ideas, because what we're going to do is we're going to bring in that list And then that meeting is going to keep adding to that list, and that's going to be an output. And some of the things we're going to talk about when we look at ISO 9001 and we look at any of the other ISO standards, we're looking at management review, and it's got outputs. The outputs are resources, which is budget, time, effort. It talks about staff training, and it talks about process improvement. And if we're writing those types of things down on that issues list, it becomes the core of what's going on. Now, the last thing, and I mentioned there'd be one last thing, is in that session, I want you to think about the first question, obviously, which is in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? And the other thing I want you to think about is in the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? Between this meeting, this planning day or this planning session we're going to have, and the next one, what could go wrong? And that's really getting you to start thinking about risk-based thinking and the opportunities and risks that the standards talk about. And then if you've got time in that 3.5 hour session, I would highly recommend running a SWOT analysis, looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And again, all you're basically doing is continuing to add stuff to that issues list, to your to-do list. So that's, loosely my 10 hacks. It's probably a couple of bonus ones there. It's more like 13 hacks in terms of how to get started and implement a management system. We are building out a course. We haven't started recording. We're just starting to document the notes. We're building out a more in-depth course for our training academy that you can purchase. And that'll include some personal time with me to identify and unpack how to implement ISO 9001. So we can talk about how to implement a management system. It's going to complement all of the great free stuff we have here. We're building that course. This is really the starting point. So look out for that in our training store. Keep coming back to our training store. If you really like to get the updates, make sure you subscribe to the list. So go to the Best Practice Training Academy, click the blue button, sign up, and put your details in there, and then you'll get onto the email list. And as soon as that course starts, you'll be able to jump on, and I'll teach you how to identify what you need to do, how to implement a management system, how to understand ISO 9001, and I will take you through some really basic, simple steps and give you guidance over a number of weeks to help you with your management system. Okay, what questions have we got? We got Mark. I think Mark's question there was about I'm a small startup, a one-man show. What's a good approach to management review given there will only be one person? Mark, I think it's really important to obviously take some time out yourself to work on your business and write yourself a to-do list or a list of notes. That's the first thing to do from a management review perspective. The second thing, Mark, is I've spent 3 hours in my office today with my business coach. And so Andrew, who's my business coach, he was with me today. I think a lot of the YouTubers that you might watch, maybe watch Ty Lopez, maybe watch Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V. Those would be two great people that are going to give you ideas. And if you're watching their videos, write notes, like write down, okay, what did he say? What do I need to do? Can I do that? So your management review is about drawing an inspiration from your mentors, and you can watch those people on YouTube. And then the second thing, Mark, would be to, if there's an influential person in your life that you can bounce ideas off, maybe look for the most successful person that you want to be like in your life, in your network, even if they're sort of on the fringe of your network. The most successful person you want to be like, reach out to them and see if they'll give you some help. And it might be that you just meet up with them, once or twice or 3 or 4 times a year, or have a phone conversation and just say, here's where I'm at with my business. I'm a startup, and you will be surprised that there are lots and lots and lots of people that are willing to, give you a free some comments and advice and some direction. Because those successful people, they're making mistakes every day. They're not successful because they've not made any mistakes and they haven't tripped up. They're successful because they stay the course, they get through the stressful times, they get through the hurdles, and they keep working their way through that process. I'm one of those people. Like every single day, I'm finding things and I'm fixing them, and I'm finding them, I'm fixing them, and constantly improving, and I'm learning and developing. All this stuff behind me. I've read all these books. So all these books and the knowledge in these ones and my big library at home contribute to the knowledge and that I share with you and how I share it. So Mark, for you, for management review, is finding some mentors and people that you can catch up with. Go look for somebody who's the most successful person that you want to be like. The most successful person that you want to be like, that is going to help you succeed, and just reach out to them and just say, hey, I really value you, I really respect you. Have you got some tips and tricks for me because I'm getting started? So that's something for you, Mark. And then obviously see what you can consume from a YouTube perspective. People like Ty Lopez and Gary Vaynerchuk, because they've got great tips and tricks. They're going to help you. And when you're a startup, probably one of the first things you need to do is get started with your marketing and get started with your sales. because without marketing and sales, you can build out the best products and the best company and the best management system, but it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm conscious of everybody's time. We're going to wrap up there. If there's any more questions, just put comments below. So this video's being recorded by YouTube. It's going to be live as a recording on our YouTube channel, probably in about 15 or 20 minutes. So put a comment beside it. Give me a like. More importantly, if there's somebody that needs to see this, please share it with me. And I shouldn't share it with me, share it with them and comment below. But more importantly, if you want some advice or you want comments or you want anything from me personally, find me on LinkedIn. My handle is @KobeSimat. You can go and find me on LinkedIn. You can send me a message, and that's the best way to contact me directly. But we monitor all the comments below these videos. So comment below the video, give us a like, give us a share. And equally, if there's anybody else that might need these 10 hacks or anyone in your team that needs my guidance and advice, check it out and share it with them. Okay, thanks everybody. I'll monitor the comments for the next couple of hours, and of course, even if you're seeing this after the live stream, comment below the video and we look at the YouTube inbox and we'll get back to you. So thanks everybody. Bye for now.